Now let's start getting technical. We're going to overview some of the most important metrics inside your account. First, let's take a look at the first part of the AdWords sales funnel. How effective are we at getting clicks from the traffic that we're targeting? We're going to take a look at clicks, impressions, and CTR, which stands for click-through rate. It's a very simple calculation. If you have 5 clicks from 100 impressions, that's a 5% click-through rate. These definitions are very straightforward. A click simply means someone clicked on your ad. An impression is how many times your ad was viewed. And CTR is the frequency or the percentage out of 100 where your ads actually got clicked on. Now you can have a CTR at the campaign, the ad group, the ad level, the keyword level, the PLA level, at any level you'd like, the country level, the state level. So CTR is the metric that describes how effective you are at the first part of your sales funnel, the step that goes from search to click. So if you ever have a question, how effective are we at targeting the traffic, at getting people into our sales funnel for the very first time through that click, look no further than your CTR. When you increase your CTR, you get more of the same audience that you're already targeting into your sales funnel. And I know that just because you'll be asking, what's an average or good CTR on the search network, aim for something over 1%. Fairly straightforward there. However, beware of average CTRs, meaning you might expect a different CTR from top of funnel keywords or bottom of funnel keywords. You might expect a different CTR between search ads, PLAs, display ads, and so on. And sometimes you'll actually want to intentionally decrease your CTR to raise your profitability. For example, perhaps you include the price inside your ad to prevent people who can't afford that from ever clicking on your ad in the first place. You'd be increasing the number of targeted people getting inside your sales funnel, but you'd be decreasing your CTR. We'll talk more about that in the ad copy section of this video series. The next metrics that I'd like to talk about is the next stage in the sales funnel. What happens after we get the click? We're going to focus on conversions, cost per conversion. Let's take a look. We have clicks, conversions, the cost of those clicks, the CPA, and conversion rate. Let's break down what these each mean. Clicks, we've already covered. Conversions. So a conversion can be anything that you'd like. It could be an email sign up. It could be a call to your customer service. It could be initiating a live chat. It can be clicking a download button. And of course, it can be purchasing a product. So when you do your conversions analysis, it's important that you list these out individually. So that's an important thing to note here. We have CPA, cost per conversion. Specifically, it stands for cost per acquisition. What was our acquisition cost to get that particular type of conversion? So what's the math that's going on here? If we had 500 clicks and 18 conversions, that would be a 3.6% conversion rate. So conversion rate is simply the frequency at which we get conversions from our clicks. A CPA. A CPA is simply how many conversions we got and how much did it cost to get each conversion. So in a situation where we spend $500 for 18 conversions, that's a simple 27.78 CPA. For our conversion rate, that's 3.6%, meaning if we had 100 clicks, we can expect to get 3.6 sales from that. That is an intro to some of the conversion metrics. Now, one thing that's worth mentioning is that CPA isn't necessarily the be-all, end-all for an e-commerce store. Think of this example. Can your CPA get worse, but your profitability actually increase? The answer is yes. For example, would you rather have $50 carts at a $10 CPA or a $100 cart at a $20 CPA? So there's a wide variety of factors that actually impact what your target CPA is. This becomes very important when we have shopping carts of wildly different values. For example, let's say you sell $1,000 piece of furniture and you also sell a $50 piece of furniture, you'd obviously have to have a really good grasp of what campaigns are getting what kinds of CPA and what products you're selling at each particular CPA. So that's very, very important to note. You can't have one blanket CPA if you have wildly different shopping cart values. Alternatively, if you sell only one product, you're going to be okay by optimizing for one CPA. So when it comes to an e-commerce store, there's really one metric to rule them all. That's return on ad spend. Return on ad spend, or ROAS, is the number that's going to tell you how much you're actually making, meaning what's the financial health of my campaign at the moment. So there's an easy way to evaluate this performance. The easiest way is to look at the AdWords metric, revenue over ad spend. And you'll get a very simple number. So let's say you had $100 of revenue for $25 of ad spend. That would give you a simple 4. Some would call this 4x. For example, you do 4 times the amount of revenue per cost. So let's say you have a 50% cost of goods sold. As an e-commerce store, when you're setting up your AdWords account, you're really going to want to do this with your cost of goods sold in mind. So let's say you have 50% cost of goods. What's your break-even return on ad spend? Let's take a look at this chart. In row 1, you sold $1,000 of revenue. You had 50% cost of goods sold, so that's $500 cost of goods sold. Your ads cost $150, so your revenue over cost would be 6.67. You would net $350. Are you making a profit? Yes. Same situation, same amount of revenue, same amount of cost of goods, except this time your cost of goods jumps to $250. You have a revenue over cost of 4. You netted $250. Are you making profit? Yes. The same situation, same numbers, except now your ads got a little bit more expensive. You spend $500 to make that $1,000. Your revenue over cost is going to be 2, no net, that's your break-even point. So as an e-commerce store owner, you know that if you have an over a 2 multiple, you're going to be making profit for your account. So as you start setting up your account, you're going to want to keep this number in mind. And you can take a look at what happens if you dip below 2. Let's say you open up your account, you take a look at revenue over cost, and it's 1.3. You spent too much, and you actually lost $250 on your ads. Are you making a profit? No. So this number, revenue over cost, it's a very simple number, and it's a great guideline when you're setting up your accounts to actually ask yourself, is this keyword profitable? Is this state profitable? Is this hour of the day profitable? Is this campaign profitable? Everything over the multiple 2 is going to be making you profit. So it's very easy to get really lost in the world of metrics. These are some of the most important ones. Now let's actually take a look inside AdWords how to pull out these columns. So we're inside an actual account. And the first thing you'll notice is that inside your AdWords account, you probably don't have all the exact same columns. To find the columns, go ahead and click Columns and Modify Columns. Now what you see here is a wide variety of potential columns that you can add. And I definitely suggest you take some time and click around and learn more about all the different columns. But for the most part, for quick analysis of your actual account so you can start actually making decisions, start with these. Click on Performance, Add Clicks, Impressions, CTR, Average CPC, which stands for the cost per click, cost. Other important metrics are going to be found in the Conversions tab. You can add things like number of conversions, cost per converted click, click conversion rate, and of course add total conversion value over cost. Go ahead and hit apply. Now you could actually save those columns if you'd like, so you don't have to always go back to it. So maybe you wanted to call this one your overview analysis of ROAS, for example. You can refer back to that. So what you see here are a slew of campaigns, and you can see my cost, my average CPC, and you're also going to see cost per converted click, total conversion value, and of course, conversion value over cost. Here's my multiple. So as an e-commerce store owner, I'll be able to open up my account and immediately see whether or not a campaign is performing as it should be or not. So in this situation, you can see that I have an account average of 5.49. I have some at 5.1. I have others at 8.9, 7.2, 36.6, 3.4, and I have some that are below 1. So when I'm going in and I'm optimizing my account, these are things that I'm going to want to pay attention to. Where am I spending the most? Where am I getting the best margins right now? So these kinds of things you really want to pay attention to when you're opening up your account.